All right, we're live. Hunter x Hunter, episode 145, and there's not going to be any anime for a while after 148. It's the last, and then the way the hiatuses are going, which I'm going to read just a little tiny bit here about that, is he's Hunter x Hunter is on indefinite hiatus, or Togashi is actually, and there's a piece that's written on Manga Stream. The staff also notes that in order to restart the manga as soon as possible, preparations on treatment for Togashi are moving along. So does that mean that he's getting operated on? It kind of sounds like it, whatever the treatment is. Now, the bad thing about that, of course, would be if he's getting a back operation or whatever, maybe this is something he's put off for a long time, that we could be talking about months. The good news is if he can ever get whole again, we could get this same guy that was making, Yu Yu Hakusho out on a regular basis without all the hiatus. Maybe he's fine. Maybe this has finally pushed him to do what he should have done already. Get his back operated on. So I hope we're getting some kind of permanent resolution. And to be honest, as fans, I want my Hunter x Hunter. And the thing has only been getting better and better. But there's a human being on the other end of this. Is the artist, the creative artist. So. All best to him. But, I have to admit, we have kind of a selfish ulterior motive on top of that. So let's go ahead and talk about the episode. Now,
Wilson.
Oh, yeah. And the political stuff about it. Pariston maneuvers to get Leorio to first place, but not for Leorio to win. Because Pariston then endorses Ox. To take enough votes away from Leorio to keep him from outright winning to get over that 50% threshold. Pariston gambles on Gon being saved. Basically from what he understood from what he deduced from talking to Gin. He was convinced that he was going to win, which he explained to Cheadle. But of course, whenever Gon gets saved, and that completely destroys Leorio's only reason to become chairman, right?
Yeah, he got sucked up in the moment in the first place. There's no part of Leorio that wanted to run. I think he's him punching is what got him in the door in the first place.
Yeah, well, at least he was honest. He was way too honest, actually. A little too much information. Yeah, well, way too much information, But he was. All these people have been used by Pariston, and it was just interesting to. So this part of it was rather boring, to be honest, except for the speech from Leorio, which was darn interesting for all the wrong reasons. And but Cheadle is learning, that just how these people that think that are manipulators, she's learned from Gin and from Pariston. She's just learning that these people, that she's playing a game, she just doesn't even understand the basic rules, right? She's way outclassed.
Yeah, that part was apparent when they because the two folks who were above the fray the whole time are Gin and Pariston.
Yes.
Even Bean mentioned that, and the whole fact that Gin was able to deduce everything from the meeting set up and the people who were involved and was able to manipulate them all. I think that's pretty masterful.
It's good. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then what was that? Being able to recognize that Pariston is not invested in winning or losing. Just wants to play the game.
Well, that he wants to control the outcome. He's not like in a normal race. Everyone's trying to be number one, right? That's normal, But this isn't normal because Pariston just wants to control who wins. He doesn't care about winning himself. He just wants to make sure that whoever wins is someone he can manipulate and control, And Leorio was the worst person to actually win. Because he couldn't control him. Because Leorio is just all over the place, right?
Right.
He couldn't manipulate him. that he was just too over the place. However, Harrison will find out who he wants, and he will, that's his goal. But it isn't to win, to manipulate. But it was fairly boring. It was it's technically correct, but it was the way Togashi has done this is just boring. It just stops. The manga, the anime, whenever we get into this stuff, for the most part, just stops. It's not done in an interesting manner. And I'm a person that's really into politics. I find it interesting, and this has bored me to, it's just like, it was very boring. It was very boring the way he did it. Togashi's great, but not when he gets into this stuff, because it starts running into it's technically correct, but just boring to watch. So
it's all could have been, the entire election could have been in one chapter instead of a mini arc. I think that's what I didn't enjoy about it.
Yeah, well, it's true. It could have been a lot shorter, and we didn't know it planned out. They had to be 50% in this, and it has to be so many people that had to be president. But anyway, let's go ahead and get past that. Killua, saving his friend's life, swearing to stay by his sibling's side, that the rest of his family be feared and or manipulated, right? And Saboni is defiantly on Killua's side, right? She seems to really feel his pain, and she even makes the statement, he suffered less when he was being controlled, right? And
how's that possible?
What do you mean? The pin, the thing, the pin that they had implanted in him that was controlling him?
Oh, how do you suffer less when you're being controlled? I think
because he didn't know.
Is he? Oh.
You got to remember, all this stuff was thrown down. Yeah, like even his relationship, evidently, with Luca, all that just got thrown out the window when he was controlled, being manipulated. So yeah. And
so
then
you're saying he suffered less when he was being controlled because he didn't know what was going on.
Well, Saboni said that, but but I agree with that. It sounds right to me. Sure. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't quite like the needle people walking around, but he was still being manipulated. Parts of evidently some parts of his brain or whatever weren't, or memories or whatever weren't active. And well, I mean, even his stuff. He's like, he'd get, okay, you're in a no-win situation. Run, Killua, right? He'd see Illumia's face, right?
Right.
And just all that stuff. Like he said, evidently, and just inferring from this, is that he's like, wow, I cared about. I've been away from her, this and that, and he's just, they were just trying to turn him into controlling him to be a killer. And then Saboni said that, and then, while wearing the monocle cam, which evidently has sound, right? So you got sound, you get the whole thing for the mother, who she despises, in my opinion. And also, you saw Illumi getting that live feed in audio of what was going on in there.
That was disturbing.
Very disturbing. But, I mean, how controlled is Illumi? Is what's kind of, I wonder about that too.
I didn't think Illumi is out of control. But what I want to say about Subone is, I think they make it pretty interesting that the butlers are not they are not beholden to the Zoldycks. I think Canary, well, with the butlers, Canary's my favorite. But Subone pointing out the fact that the Illumi is just very cruel for no reason. Be honest. Maybe the mom was nuts too.
Well, all of the ones she hates the mother. I mean, she's a couple episodes back, or whatever. She kind of said that, and the ones that are close to her, like Illumi and all that, she can't stand them because they're, like I said, their cruelty, the way they treat people and stuff. But I wanna make sure they obey the rules. I mean, will Saboni remove that monocle? No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So they're playing by the rules of the family, okay, to the letter. but it's clear the butlers like some members, don't like others. So there's a difference in playing in the rules and kind of leaning for someone, to help them a little bit this way or that way, or slowing a little bit down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole thing. Remember what Simone did is, whenever Aluka was cornered by Lumi, she appeared, right?
Right.
She didn't have to. If she would have been on Lumi's side, she definitely wouldn't have, because that started the countdown with the requests and everything again, and it stayed to Lumi's hand. So yeah, absolutely.
I hadn't thought about that.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you're spot on. There's some of them they like more than others, but there's of course there's only so much technically they can really do. They're not going to break the rules outright, but it makes it interesting. It's one thing. Now this is a part about the politics or whatever that is extremely good about what Togashi does. Is if you get a group, any size group of people, they break into factions, right?
Right.
Because they have different, and that was a good part of the election, which kind of gets lost because how boring it is. Is remember the guy with the that endorsed Cheadle, the guy that had like the hair coming out of his nose and everything. Yeah. He said because she's basically shares my political beliefs and balance or whatever, I endorse her because we think similar on this. So I would want her to win.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, that works. And then and now, and I realize most people don't read the manga, just watch it. So from episode 1 to 145, right? Mm-hmm. Gon is on the brink of meeting his father. They're in the same room, and they're both alive, which has been a big, thing. And then after being saved from certain death, this is what got me about this moment. I mean, it was so epic, just saving Gon, right? And then the whole thing from chapter 1 till now, meeting his father, the goal, his one goal, the determination that got him through, that got him through everything, right? Meet his father.
Yeah. It was kind of enticing. I don't know what to think. I do know that I think Gin is a horrible dad. He was sitting there like it's gonna be really really awkward to meet him like this.
Well, but let's make sure we don't go past it, because it's going to be, the next episode's going to be real interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anybody out there if they're just, but it's going to be well worth it. Yeah.
Well, I think
well, wait a minute. Well, we'll go ahead, and then I'm going to say spoilers, and then we'll just talk about whatever we want in the next episode chapters or whatever. So go ahead and get anything on 145.
Didn't Leorio hop off the stage and go hug him?
Oh yeah, you kidding? Flew up in the air. Up in the air, and Gon jumped up in the air.
Yeah, that was pretty touching. It's like, I guess what I can't get is why his dad doesn't interact with him, or why I guess he only observed him from afar, but he acts like he knows him.
All right. Spoilers. Anybody that doesn't want to get spoiled or whatever, just get the hell out of here, because we're going to start talking about past episode 145. Okay. Well, let me ask you some things about, because we're talking about motivation, right?
Right.
Okay. You have people like Pariston. How much has Pariston already benefited from Gin having a son?
He's got to play around the election game a bit longer.
Yes, he did.
A lot longer.
A lot longer. Just because Gin had a son.
Yeah, and I think
you got to remember. See, here's the deal. If you have manipulations, Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. There was I can't remember the names now, but there was one guy, and they had a meeting, and this guy was trying to get under this guy's crew, and he says, "No, you're friends with Tony, and I can't loan you the money." He says, "What?" He says, "Yeah, because I can't hurt you. You know, I can't. If I loan you this money, you don't pay it back to me because Tony's your friend. I can't hurt you, so I have no leverage to get my money back, right?" Okay. Well, it's the same with relationships. He can, because Gen has a family member, his family member can get hurt. See, I think that I think my own opinion. I think that Gen has been of two minds. He wants his son to follow his footsteps and be an awesome hunter, but I think he understands that people will use it against him that he's got a son. Yes, see, I mean, just think about this. Evidently, the mother is nowhere to be seen. Who knows about her, right?
Right,
There's no
we know she exists.
right. Well, yeah, she had to exist at least for a short period of time to have a kid, but right now he's a free spirit. He's got nobody. He doesn't have people that you can hurt to get at him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay. And he doesn't have, and even more important, he doesn't have people that, if they get hurt, they can hurt. That'll hurt him. Right? They're at a distance. Okay. But like I say, you've already seen Pariston and other people who do the same thing. They're gonna use this fact to either threaten him or to get information or to see how Gen reacts when something happens. You know what I mean? Because with somebody like Paris and all these people, they don't need very much information to start making leaps of logic, which for some of these people are really gifted. Also, another thing is have you ever worked in an office or been anywhere? Well, anyway, I don't know if we want to go this route, but I won't ask you specifically, but I'll just speak for my own. I've worked with people that used being a jerk or whatever to keep people at a distance that worked for them. Okay? And Gen seems to be like this. He prefers to be hated, okay, and keep people at a distance, right? It seems to be part of his modus operandi. And being seen as a caring father or something, like, it goes against what he's using, to keep people away from him. And it would just, like I say, with everything I've said before, it just in a way would endanger his son. Because all of a sudden now Gen is like, wow, if I stop stomping on too many toes, somebody's going to threaten my son, right?
Yeah, I think I'm of the same mindset because I think it makes sense. You can, that makes a lot of sense then. To draw a conclusion. So if, let's say Gen had, let's say Gen had a relationship with the mom. Let's say he got deceived and God came from it.
Yeah.
It's possible the mom could be a serious bad news, or with or caught up in a bad situation, so like a Zodiac family rival. I think they could definitely use that against him if he in any number of ways.
Yes.
So that would make sense why he'd leave his son alone, because I guess because by the time his son was born, he was already a famous hunter. So I can see it that way.
Yeah, it could be that way. Of course, for me, it gets exciting who's the mother. My own feeling is that she's on the Dark Continent somewhere. And I'm not even sure if she's human. Because Gon is well, again, as you'll see later, but Gon has got some abilities that are kind of a little bit beyond your normal human being.
Gon?
In my opinion, yeah. His healing and everything else is kind of off the charts.
Yeah, I've heard folks say that before, like, "What are you?"
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hint.
I think, yeah. I mean, if his father's Gen, that's already pretty incredible. But whatever else he is like something else too. And and even the Zoldaks, I'm not sure they're completely, you know, that they don't have some kind of bloodline, you know, going to the Dark Continent either, or something going on. So,
Hmm.
on suspicion.
That makes sense though. I didn't, and they've showed that quote unquote cross species breeding is possible just by the Chimera ants. So
Well, and
and magical
yeah,
beasts.
yeah, well, exactly. But it may not be. They may not be human, but they may not be that far off. You know what I mean? It may just be another or an offshoot of humanity, or just humans that have lived in the Dark Continent for a long time or something. So, which it had to be a lot more tougher and probably more magical or whatever. So I don't know. But you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, that would be, if we went the Yu Yu Hakusho route, then that means they got a little demon blood running around there, or something.
I don't think that's too far fetched.
Yeah, yeah, it could actually be, and it would be interesting. It'd be very interesting. But well, anyway, is there anything else Hunter x Hunter wise you want to talk about? Definitely don't want to get too bogged down in the hiatus. We've already talked about that. So, is there anything else?
No, I just kind of it was touching. What I do want to say,
Yeah,
I feel bad that Kalua has to go through so much. He trying to have friends. But Kalua's like the kind of friend you let. I would love to have a friend like Kalua.
yeah.
That guy goes through everything for his friend and he's kept him alive on several occasions.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's well. Remember, I mean, he's gone through hell. He's sit. I mean, Killua's gone through. I'm glad you brought this up. He's gone through hell. He went and he saw his best friend Gon lose his mind in the act of revenge, right? And he could tell
yeah,
that whatever price he was paying for all his power was going to be off the charts. He's like, stop. And so he saw his friend fall apart. And then he goes and his sister, okay, or brother, whatever, thing, you know, in levels of security, you know, and now he's getting guilt because he's forgotten this person or kind of abandoned them, and they've just been surrounded by toys but no people, right? Out of fear. So I
right.
mean, and it's hell, and the way Tagashi's connected, bringing them all together is pretty amazing. But yeah, he's had a lot of burden on him, a massive amount.
Yeah,
And you
keeps
even
it
saw
keeps
when he was
getting
there.
bigger.
I won't. Yeah, well, he even said, "I won't forgive."
Mhm.
He says, "I won't forgive you for this time." To Gon while he's sitting there, I won't. Basically, what was for not bringing him along. I won't. This time, I won't forgive you. So
He said that the guys this time won't forgive you for not bringing me along.
yeah, it was something like that. What he said at the glass where Gon was laying in the bed and everything. He's still pissed. He's hurt. You know. I'll
That's
pick
a
up the misses. I'll pick up the pieces like I always have, or something like that. He's pissed. He's gonna need an apology or something.
yeah.
So
He I don't know. He's already a pretty lonely character. Now he's gonna have to be even more isolated or on the run. I don't know. Maybe not on the run, but gonna have to avoid Lumi and the other maybe Hisoka. I'm not sure.
well, the thing is we don't know how he's gonna or what he's gonna bring in or what's gonna happen. I mean the whole the Zoldyck family is in danger from Maluka, and so yeah, my own feeling at least is that's probably going to be put on hold. But that's huge. I mean, Tagashi's put himself in a real spot. It takes Tagashi to be able to ride his way out of that. So of course, I'm interested where that's going to go. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I do want to see how their I do want to see how this family conflict is going to work out, but I don't see it working out smoothly. Like, but is I think his mom is only really a threat for him, and if if he's on site. And that's only because you can guilt him. And the Lumi's only when he's close. And
Well,
Lumi won't kill him.
right. Well, I have a. Well, the real thing is I think the question is understanding what this other is, what the other person is.
Oh,
If there's,
Nanika?
yeah, there's going to have to be some. I think a solution would require understanding what this being is that's with Luca.
Well, I mean, hmm.
Because there may be. See, the thing is if you go down this route, then there may be a solution to this problem. Because if the other goes away, and that's what he tried to do, right? Or will try to do. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but that might be, like I said, there may be other options to fix this problem that don't require a lot of people dying. But
I I can't imagine it just yet. I think I'm going to enjoy the ride to see how it's resolved, whether it's this year or 2020. So,
yeah, yeah, I'm laughing, but yeah, who knows? Hopefully, it won't be more about 6 months. Hopefully by next year, Tagashi can get his whatever it is, treatment operation, whatever. He can get his stuff, squared away.
yeah,
So
I just think we're at a pretty interesting point in the story, and we just have to wait. It's- But there's one more thing I did want to ask.
yes.
So, um, well, let me see it right. I forgot that quick.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if there's something you got to look up or something, that's fine. Because we've only got like 3 more of these to do, and then it's going to be. I mean, it may be. I mean, for anime, we may be talking 2016, 2017.
Um,
So take your time, man. If you really got some, I got some other stuff I want to do here shortly. But I mean, if you need to look something up, please do.
I know I don't want to look anything up, but I think I'm still interested in knowing more about Ging's motivations. Is all. Is where
Yeah,
I'm at, and
yeah.
I don't know if a way to glean them beyond going out to the fan sites. I've done that before with Naruto, and it's it's
Well,
been
I'll
kind of
just
a waste
press.
of time.
I'd press on if you want to understand Gin and Paris and all this. I would press on with the manga. So, but anyway, now we're getting other stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Is there anything real quick you want to say before we sign off?
Looking forward to the next chapter. Um, and let's to the next episode, and that's pretty much it.
Yep, we gotta enjoy the ride while it's there. Until next time, take care.